guys, it's Kaden.
It's Jesse.
And we are the Geeky Saying Couple. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about our favorite RWBY ships that are not Bumbleby. Bumbleby will always be our number one ship, but we want to wait until Volume 7 goes a little bit longer to see what happens, see if there's any more major moments. Yes, we did have that moment in Chapter 3 with the whole Yang having a gay panic and Blake blushing, and we've had other little moments since then. But we want to wait, see what happens, and then maybe do a Bumblebee-focused video once the volume is over. We've also got that really personal one planned, which will all happen during the hiatus. So yeah, this is just a little special video we want to do since it is in the middle of RWBY season. It's also New Year's, so don't know when this video will go up. It'll probably already be the New Year before it goes up, because this is going to Patreons first. This will be on Patreon for a little bit, then we'll put it on YouTube.
But this is our last, from the time right now, our last video of 2019.
Yes. So, like I said, we'll probably be putting up other videos before this one goes on the channel, but yes, this is the official last video of 2019, as it's less than an hour till New Year starts and we're recording a video. Also, in case you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because if you subscribe, you automatically enter into our giveaway, which is in another video. So go watch that.
And we will put a link to that video.
Yes, in
so
the description.
You can go right to it. Make sure you look. We do say the rules in the video, but the rules are posted below, as well as shared on both of our Twitters, but it's pinned to the top of mine.
Yes. We've already got some great questions in the giveaway, and the deadline will be announced sometime next week. The winner, however, will not be announced until after we are back from OhioCon, because, like we said, we may find something at the con to include.
That we want to include, yes. And also, our Patreon count is up to 3, so if that also rises up, we'll make sure that's going to be another giveaway, which will have a different deadline, but there are some really cool things that we're planning for that.
Yep, so that's the reason why we're not going to announce the winner before we go to the con, because of that, plus, you know, it is a convention.
And there's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and we need to save a little bit, that way when we get back, we don't have to worry about
and it's con crunch right now, so
yeah.
I'm sewing away.
Yeah. And we're waiting for stuff to get here in the mail. Okay, so I think that's all we really wanted to cover before we started the meat of the video. So, without further ado, this is the Geeky Saying Couple presents our top 8 RWBY ships of RWBY, besides Bumblebee. Number 8, Sea Monkeys. So, this ship is a little interesting in that I think either Miles or Carrie confirmed that Neptune is indeed straight. But it's like, and like these are not, like, we don't think they're going to, this is not a list of ships we think are going to become canon or anything like that.
It's like just ships that we like.
Yeah. And for me, what I like about this ship is it would make, like, Sun and Neptune are already great buddy characters. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't care much for Sun during Volume 4 and 5, is that I really think his character shines more with Neptune. It's kind of like, you know, Batman and Robyn, Starsky and Hutch, you know, just those duos that, I mean, yeah, they're all right all by themselves, but together, it's just, like, this would be a good...
They're just goofy and funny.
This would be a good comedy ship. Like, if they were a couple that had their own sitcom, and it just showed the kind of shenanigans they got into, it would make a great show. And that's why I like Sea Monkeys, is it would...
Like when they ditched and decided to go get noodles.
Yes, and like it would just be a great romantic comedy, in a way. It really would. And like, I do like them both together. I think, like Sun did alright by himself in Volume 4 and 5, but it's kind of like, you know, I think Neptune's weapon being called Tryhard it applies to him in so many ways. Like, I don't think he could carry a show by himself, if you know what I mean. He would need Sun. Like, and
I love during the tournament. I love their interaction.
Oh yeah.
Like takes off. What are you doing? You know.
So yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons why I prefer this ship, is just because it's just a really good comedy ship. So yeah, that's our number 8. Moving on, number 7, Prismatic Ponytails. Now, a lot of people like this ship. A lot. And, yes, we've not seen Weiss and llia interact with each other at all within the show. It has a really good dynamic, and I think it has a dynamic, which is why I think a lot of people ship monochrome. And that's just the heiress of the Schnee Dust Company being in love with a Faunus. Now, of course, they didn't go that way with Blake and Weiss, because obviously Bumbleby was the plan, and Blake and Weiss have had a lot of great interactions within the show. Before, in Volume 1 they had that fight, and that argument with each other, and then in this volume, Blake supporting Weiss because Blake recognized the abuse Weiss's father was putting her through, like what she went through with Adam. But it's always been really good friendship interactions. With llia, it would be more interesting because, see, we don't know exactly what Blake has went through as far as Faunus discrimination, because, it turned out that her father's the chieftain and all that, so she did kind of come from a well-to-do family, but still experienced discrimination. Most of Blake's turmoil came from Adam, a fellow Faunus. Where with llia, she has experienced that discrimination from humans and has been personally affected by the Schnee Dust Company. I mean, her parents died in a mine explosion, and we learned in the show that she was passing herself off as human, and then when she heard the news, and she changed colors. So that's what a lot of people like. They like the dynamic of, they just like the thought of the Schnee Dust Company heiress being in love with a Faunus, and with llia more so than Blake, because llia is actually been affected by the Schnee Dust Company. Yeah. Whereas with Blake, I mean, kind of with Adam, and Adam being branded, but I mean, it would come off, I think, a little bit more symbolic and personal as far as storytelling goes. So yeah, that's why I really, really like this ship. It's probably my favorite same-sex ship for Weiss. No offense to White Rose shippers, but yeah, I just really, really like it, and that's why it's in our top 8. Number 6, Crosshairs. I have loved this.
This is definitely a favorite.
Yes, I have loved this ship ever since Team Coffee was introduced, and
I fell in love with Velvet to begin with. She's just absolutely adorable.
Yeah, and like, and it's funny, when After the Fall came out, it was confirmed that Coco is a lesbian.
I'm sorry, it screams it when I saw her. I just knew.
And spoilers for After the Fall if you've not read it yet. There is a section in the book. Now, yes, After the Fall kind of does push the whole Velvet and Yatsuhashi ship, which is fine, but it kind of hints at some Velvet having some, what's the word? Not really fawning over Coco, but having like this adoration for her, which you could kind of interpret as maybe as a little bit of a crush that has, ever since that book came out, it has been kind of accepted that Velvet may have had a little bit of a crush on Coco, and that's 100% fine. If she had a crush on Coco but ends up with Yatsu, that's 100% okay, because the way the characters are written in RWBY is the writers think outside their genders. Like, I don't think there's a term for sexuality in RWBY.
I don't either. And we've
like
actually
in reality, we have the labels and all that, but it doesn't seem like it exists in RWBY. Like there's no they don't use terms straight, bi.
Well, if you
gay.
go back to the last, volume when they met
Pyrrha and Saf.
Yes, when they met them, it was normal.
Yeah.
They never, no one on the street, nothing. It was just a normal thing. So, we've had this discussion, and what's probably going to be added into another video of ours, I'm sure, but we really don't think there's labels. It's never been stated that way.
Yeah, it's pretty much, within the show proper, it's never been stated. Nothing like that. The term straight has now, of course, we had Blake in Volume 6 say, wrong tree, which is a term we do use in reality. But that's been the closest we've ever came to having anything like that. So, I really think relationships in RWBY's world, it's like...
It works a little bit different.
Yeah, it's like if a guy has feelings for another guy, they don't have, I'm trying to think of a safe way to say this. It's just like they would, it's kind of like if Jaune ended up having feelings for Neptune during the early arc. He wouldn't have questioned, because in Remnant's world, it's seen as normal.
Everything's normal.
Yeah,
no matter what you are. And
now, I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that, but that just seems like how they interpret things in RWBY. It's just that sexuality doesn't have a label. It's just love. You fall in love with who you fall in love with. And so that's why I'm comfortable in saying that Velvet may more than likely had a crush on Coco, but she may also have feelings for Yatapashi. Maybe we'll learn in the new book when it comes out more. But, yeah, Crosshairs has always been probably, at least in one of my top girl-girl relationships in RWBY. That's because it's really cute.
Some of the fan art is the most adorable
Yeah.
ever.
Like Coco protecting Velvet and stuff like that, taking up
I
for
saw
her.
another one today where she, told her, I'll be back, Muffin.
Yeah.
And she's walking off with her gun purse,
Yeah.
and she's dragging Velvet, who's holding onto her leg. I happened to see that today, so it was just cute.
So yeah, I think actually before I started shipping Bumbleby, really, I think Crosshairs was one of the first same-sex ships that I really, really supported when RWBY first started. But yeah, that is why it is our number 6. Number 5, RoseBird. Boy, this is going to cause some controversy. So, there has always been a theory. With Team Stark, it's just like every night was a party night with this group. Because there's several theories for Stark. There's a theory that Ty banged everyone on the team. Then you had just the typical, Raven had a thing for Ty, but so did Summer. But Summer and Qrow also had something. But then, it's
crisscrossing everywhere. And
yes.
then I've actually a drawing that I've saved recently as well that I liked. I think Qrow had said something like, your sister, or my sister sold my love, or something like that, and then Ty had said something like, well, your love stole mine, or something like that. Your sister stole my love. It was funny. And
pretty much, this ship stems from people wanting Summer to, Summer and Raven to be the parents of RWBY and Yang, which, there's even theories that the reason why Raven is so angry towards Summer is that she was in love with Summer.
Which is, it's a little bit of a possibility. We don't know, because anger is a cover. Anger and sarcasm is a cover for every other emotion.
And I mean, it would still allow RWBY and Yang to be sisters, so I mean, it's not like it gets in the way of that. And of course, there's been theories that Ty, Summer, and Raven had an open relationship, and Qrow was left out of the. Well, I mean, his sister is involved, so yeah, that would be a little messed up. So yeah, I just like it just because, yeah, it's pretty much Ruby's mom, who looks exactly like Ruby, Yang's mom, who looks exactly like Yang, and they would just have them both together. I think I've seen fan fiction of people using Summer and Raven as the parents. So, I mean, yeah, that's just one of the reasons why I really like it. I would love to see the dynamic between Summer and Raven. I really do. That's why I kind of hope Summer is still alive, and we do see some kind of Team Stark reunion at some point in the show. I would just love to see those two interact. I really would. Because it makes me wonder what we know about Raven and how her personality is.
At least this far.
Yeah, how she was around somebody like Summer, who I'm guessing we can guess was just like Ruby. So, yeah, that's one reason why I like this ship. I would just love to see the dynamic. Number 4, Khali. So, this ship is also called, I think, like, it's got several other names. This was just the first ship name that I was sent for it. And it's Khali and Sienna. Now, I've seen this ship come out of people wanting Sienna to be Blake's real parent just because of Sienna being like, you know, this really strong leader. And I mean, not to say Qrow wasn't a good leader, but a lot of people just think that in the small amount of time we saw her, Sienna was more alpha than Qrow.
Well, a little bit.
And you know, of course, the running gag within the RWBY fandom is that Khali is kind of promiscuous. She comes off as kind of promiscuous, which I love Khali. Out of all 4 moms, that's my favorite RWBY mom.
I do too, but I still want more Raven.
Oh, are you gonna leave me one day and abandon our kids then?
No, it's not.
But so yeah, that's basically where this ship comes from. Is like I said, and like there's always been a theory, like ever since Khali and Qrow were introduced, that the reason why Blake's ears are like shorter than Khali's, which I mean, of course, it could be a real life cat thing, and that cats grow into their ears. But some people thought that maybe there was like some crossbreeding going there, which I don't think exists for faunus. But it would kind of fit with Qrow being more of a panther.
Yeah, that her ears are still, like, they're still really large. They're just not as tall.
Yeah.
As Khali's,
But just imagine Blake with like tiger stripes or more fluffy ears like Sienna's. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, I wish they were a little more fluffy.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much...
I also wish she had a tail.
Yeah, I mean, and pretty much, like, I've seen these ships used in, like, stories where there's literally no guys involved. It's Summer and Raven raising Ruby and Yang, and Sienna and Khali raising Blake. And,
I've loved a lot of those stories, so...
Yeah, and for Weiss, I don't think it really wasn't shown because we hadn't seen Willow till recently, and there was no other parent character.
I'm sure those will show up now.
Yeah. Robyn Hill, probably. But yeah, this one, I just really like the thought of Khali and Sienna in a relationship.
I really liked Sienna, so...
Yeah, I did too. It's a shame that we got screwed on that. But I'm really guessing Rooster Teeth couldn't afford to use Monica Rial very long. But yeah, that is our number 4. Number 3, Lucky Charms. Now we are getting into possible canon territory. Okay, so this ship has had a lot of controversy around it. More so maybe than even Bumbleby. At the beginning of Volume 7, when Clover was first shown, the moment we learned what his name was, and, you know, him twirling around the horseshoe and the rabbit's foot and all that, we pretty much all called that he was going to have some kind of semblance related to good luck. And that's really where Lucky Charms came from. It's also called Fair Game.
I like Lucky Charms better.
I like Lucky Charms better as well. And it was already theorized that this guy was either going to be like a foil, maybe to Qrow.
Because of the two stories.
Yeah, of the two stories, plus, good luck semblance, bad luck semblance, canceling each other out.
But as the development went, we realized which story he was based off of, and it wasn't the one against, it was the one for, so...
And, of course, when Clover was first shown, I automatically thought he was going to turn into a bad guy. He just had that look, kind of like when we first saw him, he kind of came off as a cocky, arrogant leader in a way. But now that we've learned more about Clover, and I mean, we still don't know if he might have an alternative motive. He seems like a really cool guy, but things really got interesting in Chapter 3 of Volume 7, and...
threw Qrow for a loop.
Yeah, I mean, heck, it threw me for a loop. Okay, so in this
his face in a lot of those pictures is just like he's just like, what?
Yeah, and I mean, the revelation that yes, Clover does have a good luck semblance was enough, but I mean, him pretty much saying almost the same wink and lucky you that the waitress did, and
yeah, that's something like.
He winked at Qrow twice in that episode. And then we've had some other things, the episode where Clover gets on to Qrow pretty much for not taking a compliment. And then the most recent episode,
Qrow smirked back.
Yeah. And kind of flirted with Clover in a way.
That was kind of a little flirty. And like I said, I mean, whether Qrow's, bi or not, I mean, I think it'd be awesome if he was, because, I mean...
Well, here's the thing. If it turns out not to be romantic, it's a great friendship ship.
And it's something that he really needs.
It's done wonders for Qrow's character already, because he gave up drinking, which we're now seeing more of Qrow's real character, because yes, when you have an alcohol problem, it does change your personality and turns you into a different person. So that's the one argument that I could say for bisexual Qrow, is that he's been drunk this whole time, and maybe this was just part of his character that we're not seeing till now because he's sober. And he's a lot more laid back. He's a lot more Qrow was always kind of a jokester, but...
And we've heard that, and he even, things he'd mentioned, he goes, well, when he was in their little dorm room playing video games, when you're older, I'll tell you that. And, I mean, I'm sure he's got friends, especially, I'm sure he's still friends with Ty, but... But
we've never seen him connect with another character this fast. And that could be because, he's turned over a new leaf. He's, bettering himself, and, I mean, it's like in Chapter 4, I believe it was, when it was Qrow who said, guys, lighten up, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, the one that said, it needed to be said, and he's the one that said it.
Yeah, after all of Volume 6, where he was mopey the whole entire time. So, yeah, if it's not romantic, it's a good character development tool for Qrow. Hopefully Clover turns out to really be a good guy, and who knows, we still don't know who the partners were on Team Stark. I mean, we don't know if Qrow and Raven were partners, if Qrow and Summer were partners. He could become...
Summer and Raven.
Well, I mean, this is more in relation to Qrow. He could become Crow's new partner, and I mean, out of the Aesops, Elm and Vine seem kind of like partners, and many are thinking that they are a couple because they kind of parallel Ren and Nora. And then you have Marrow and Harriet, and Clover doesn't have a partner, so who knows? Maybe him and Qrow will form some kind of dynamic duo. You just never know. But I do like it so far. I think it's like I said, even if it's not romantic, I like it in the terms of it just being a friendship, because it's doing so much for Qrow's character. And that's probably the best thing about it, is it's building Qrow's character, and that's why it's our number 3. Number 2, SnowByrd. Not to be confused with the SnowByrd that is Winter and Qrow. This is SnowByrd in Winter and Robyn. Now, I started shipping this because I love both characters. I love badass, independent women, and in fiction and in reality. So, like, you know, it was a pure shipping moment. Just, I'd love to see these two together, you know.
And also the whole, Maid Marian thing.
Yeah, but I think it's been confirmed that May, who is RWBY's first official transgender character, is the one that's based off Maid Marian. Does that mean her and Robyn are together? Probably not.
Yeah, we don't know really much.
They've really kind of been pushing Robyn and Fiona a little bit, the little lamb girl, but that one little scene isn't much to go off of. I like this just because, yeah, I just think it'd be a great dynamic just to see two women like this together, and it does kind of fit with the whole Robin Hood thing, except Winter's not being kidnapped. But you could kind of look at, if Robyn is Robin Hood, and if you could see Winter as, say, Maid Marian, then you could kind of see Ironwood or Jacques maybe as King John, in a way.
Jacques. It screams Jacques to me.
Yeah, but...
I get what you mean, but to me it just screams Jacques.
At this point, like, with some of the looks and some of the storytelling they're doing in Volume 7, you sometimes wonder if Winter does feel trapped by Ironwood in a way. Like, not on purpose, but, like, trapped because by her beauty to him.
Yeah. Which, in the last... in Chapter 8, that talk with Penny, I mean... Yeah. One, it showed she really does care for Penny, but two, Penny turning around and saying, I don't understand.
Well, but it also kind of showed that maybe Winter is still feeling kind of trapped by her father and her past. So there could be that. And plus, in that episode, when Winter blows up, Robyn does kind of look at her and give this little smirk. So that fueled SnowByrd shippers a little bit. But yeah, I just like it just because of... come on, two really badass, gorgeous women. Why not, And I just think it would be, like, just imagine it. The Vigilante pairing up with who she kind of sees as her enemy's right-hand woman. That's perfect story. That's a perfect storytelling tool. But anyway, let's move on. Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. White Rose. So this is probably going to make some White Rose shippers mad that it didn't make the actual list, but here's the thing.
Don't get us wrong, we really like the ship. Yes, it's adorable.
Yes, I do like White Rose, but I'm sometimes scared to really get into White Rose because I've seen some people say some stuff that kind of has me worried. Like, it's almost like since Bumbleby has pretty much happened, they're now expecting White Rose to happen. And I've even seen some say that they would quit the show if White Rose doesn't happen, or they would boycott the show if White Rose didn't happen. Here's the thing. I'm just going to be 100% truthful. I don't think White Rose is going to happen.
At least in the sense that everyone's, like, a lot of wanting.
Yeah, like, there's no romantic build-up at all for White Rose. Like, they've not had any interactions that are inherently romantic. They don't really have a shared arc, say, like Blake and Yang have had. And they've not had... The only shared trauma they've had was the fall of Beacon, and there's been several characters who had that same trauma. It's just, as of right now in storytelling, as right now as the show's being told, it's not looking like that's the way they're going, because RWBY kind of has her own arc in dealing with the decisions that she's making. Weiss has her own arc with dealing with her father and the SDC and all that, and her sister. And, come on, Blake and Yang's plot is still tied together. It's always RWBY, Weiss, then Blake and Yang over in their own little bubble. We still don't know how long RWBY is going to be, like, officially. So, they could build it up eventually, but I'm kind of worried if it did, because then you'd have a lot more people saying, oh, they made all 4 girls LGBT. That's so forced, that's pandering, because they're already doing it for Bumbleby. But it's almost to the point where I don't think Miles and Carrie care if it would make people mad. Like, they're not the type of guys who worry themselves if they make like homophobic people mad. But I do like the ship. It is cute. I think it was like the first real big ship of the series because the red and white trailer were first. Plus, it does have several shipping things are used, like Ruby, the goofy, happy-go-lucky protagonist, and Weiss, the cold-hearted girl who acts like she doesn't care, but she really does. Yeah, that's definitely shipping material. But as far as the actual show goes, Ruby's not shown romantic interest in anybody, and it does kind of look like they're kind of leaning toward her and Oscar a little bit. Or maybe Ruby's just a mentor to him. It could go either way. And Weiss has only shown interest in one character, and that was Neptune. And, Iceberg's not coming back.
I mean,
and
regardless...
ever since then, she's not shown any interest in anybody. So,
yeah, they've been kind of focusing on themselves. And like I said, it's really hard to judge, but we still ship it. We really do. It is an adorable ship, and we will always continue to ship it.
I just don't want White Rose shippers to get so... I don't want them to get so their hopes up that if it doesn't happen, then it's going to be like with what happened with the Voltron community, with that whole fallout. So, ship what you want to ship. It's 100% fine. Not going to tell you.
In our own stories, we ship White Rose.
Yeah,
so
yeah. In any story
we really
write,
do love it. So
with any story we write, it's Ruby and Weiss together.
Yeah, and we and that goes with a lot of the ships that we've listed so far. We use all of them. But
I just don't want to fall out in Ruby again like last volume. Okay, with the whole Atom stuff, the Bumbleby stuff, the Glassdoor stuff with the layoffs and all that with the Rooster Teeth. I don't want another incident like that, because the hiatus was horrible because of that. So, just watch the show, see what they do, and if they do it, great, but if it looks like they're not going to do it, then please don't be mad at them.
Just keep shipping it on your own.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to keep shipping it. It's a favorite ship. We didn't list that one on here.
Yeah.
It's just, we like it.
Yep.
Simple as that.
And here's our honorable mention number 2. Arkos. Now, this is an honorable mention because I like Arkos, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. Now, there was I don't know if you saw it, but there was a little bit of controversy today. A lot of people talking about how they think Arkos was forced, and they were kind of using it as a way to make Bumbleby look better and all that.
I don't know. I've seen some of it today, but I don't see it that way at all.
Yeah, a lot of people got upset about that, although I think one of the people that posted it confirmed they were just joking. Now, here's
you can't just turn around and do something like that.
Yeah, but if someone has a different opinion on a ship, you shouldn't retweet their stuff and drag them through the mud just because they have a different opinion. Now, if they were saying, this ship sucks,
if they were saying really mean things, there's a difference there. But still, like, if they post something and it's supposed to be a joke, don't turn around and, like, before even asking questions. I mean,
it's just that behavior like that is why a lot of people think shippers are the toxic ones of fandoms. Now, here's my issue with Arkos. It wasn't forced, but it was rushed a little bit, really toward the end.
I do wish there was a bit more they could have done. I mean,
because when I started watching Ruby, the moment I learned that Pyrrha was based off Achilles, I had a feeling she was going to die. I thought Jaune was going to die too, because he's based off Jaune of Arc. But here was the big problem with Arkos. It's that the fact that for so long it was a one-sided ship. It was your stereotypical popular girl has a crush on the dorky loser, in a way. I mean, I don't want to call Jaune a loser, but I mean, come on. During those early volumes, he was kind of he was a dork. Let's just say that. He was a dork.
Vomit boy.
He still kind of is, though he has grown as a character.
He has grown a lot.
Pyrrha would be proud.
Yes. That's one thing I can say that keeps fueling him, is it'll keep referring back to, even if it's not said, it refers back to Pyrrha.
And that's the great thing about
he
this
knows
ship.
that she would want that.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about this ship. It's the story of it still goes on, even if she's
not there.
Yes.
It still goes on because he's just taking what the things that she did. We training.
We saw that last volume when he saw her statue. We saw it this volume.
I cried.
We saw it this volume when he was holding, her sash and decided to cut his hair. It's still there. Now I think you all know my theory on what's eventually going to happen to Jaune, but
we do plan to cosplay these two though still, because I absolutely adore Pyrrha.
But once again, back to why I kind of have a problem with Arkos is that it was a little stereotyped. It was very tropey. But the biggest thing I had about it was it went one-sided for 2 whole volumes. A lot of people think Jaune started having feelings for Pyrrha after the dance, but the first half of volume 3 kind of disproves that because he's still clueless. And then second half of volume 3, he starts showing interest in her. They kiss, then she dies. I understand RWBY's reason for doing it, because they wanted to be not predictable and having the hero die. Because, stereotypical storytelling, you expect Pyrrha to win, though a lot of people said that, yeah, they had a feeling she was going to die. And, I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. It still kind of shocks me to this day how there are still people scarred by her death.
I mean, it killed me, yes. And when I first saw it, I cried too. But, I mean...
For me, it was like a oh shit moment, and then I was okay. I mean, but it takes a lot to make me cry. But, yeah, like I said, I like it. I do like the ship. I just wish it had been done better. It could have been done way, way better, but I think everybody's going to always have a soft spot for Jaune and Pyrrha. So, and it kind of makes you want it to be Jaune who takes out Cinder, but I still have a feeling it's going to be Neo, and Neo's going to become the Fall Maiden. But, we'll see. But yeah, we like Arkos, and we do like White Rose, but there's just other ships we really like better, and that's why they were only honorable mentions. But now, it is time for our number 1, Renora. Was there ever any doubt that Renora would be our number 1? Well, technically it's number 2 because Bumbleby. So with Renora, it was never any doubt that at least Nora had feelings for Ren, because literally the moment they were introduced in Volume 1, Nora, called him handsome, was talking about him being handsome and stuff like that. And, as the show going on, it kept on teasing. We had Boop and things like that. But it was always, does Ren feel the same way, blah, 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 and all that. And then...
also discovering, the emotion thing. I mean, he's not exactly going to show it, so that's going to be... It was even harder for a lot of people to understand. It's just...
And then we had Volume 4, where we got Ren's backstory, and then we learned some of, how he met Nora, what happened, and then by the end of Volume 4, they pretty much had the first of their together moments, holding hands on an airship after dealing with the Knuckle V, which was the source of trauma for both of them. Sounds like something they did in Volume 6. Then in Volume 5, Ren and Nora's relationship kind of took a back seat a little bit in Volume 5. I think there was a couple of looks maybe, but other than that, they really didn't do much with Renora in Volume 5. Then in Volume 6, of course, you had Her embracing him in the opening, a little bit of soft looks here and there, but then during the fight with Cordovan, there was the get back here with my man.
Which was great.
Ren being concerned when both Jaune and Nora got attacked, and then being happy to see that they were okay. It was, kind of a side of Ren we hadn't seen before. And then you get to this volume where at first things were not looking good for Renora.
It had me a little worried.
Well, technically they still kind of aren't okay, but
not in the territory we were thinking where it was going.
Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They could still sink it with the way it's going. So,
but I really don't think.
I don't know. I would wait and see what happens toward the end of this volume before I get sure of myself. Not saying it'll happen, but I think even Cal and Hunter did a video where they said, yeah, there's potential they could still sink it, even if they had the kiss.
I really hope not.
So the thing really that happened in chapter 3 was, Nora complimenting Ren's new look and Ren kind of blowing her off. Now, I wasn't really worried because that's just how Ren is. He wants to focus on the mission. But then we get into later episodes where he's really, really focused on the mission, like training, going on missions. That's all he wants to do. And he was not happy about the night off in the whole night off episode.
Because he's stuck on thinking of how serious things are, and that's where his mind is staying.
Yeah, because
even though you shouldn't just focus completely on that. You do need to take time to recuperate. But in his mindset right now, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, because it seems like out of what's left of Team Juniper, Jaune and Nora so far are not really showing that much concern yet, but it's all Ren can think about, and that could go back to his childhood, what he went through.
But also,
he had already lost everything, so he doesn't want to lose Nora, but he doesn't want to lose Jaune either. So maybe he feels like he's got to distance himself from all that.
But the other thing I'm noticing is when he was sitting on the floor, training, while Ruby, when we discover her split and all that, he's trying to that type of training. He's trying to make that his semblance and everything stronger. Yeah. You can tell he is. So he's just focusing too much. But
Happy New Year.
Oh. He's just focusing too much. So he's not. He needs to take the break, but he's just not. And then that led right up to.
Well, it got really intense in that episode because you have before they even got to the party, Nora trying to justify why they need the day off, and Ren saying they don't have time, this is a waste. And then they get to the party where Nora pretty much not only confirms that Bumbleby is romantic, but also paralleling her relationship with Ren. The whole point, there were so many people who missed the point of that conversation.
It was pretty much a double-edged conversation.
It was a meta conversation in a way. You have the whole friends, huh? Just friends. Like I said in our analysis, that moment was for Bumbleby. Two people who've gone through that much, I think there's more going on. That's for Bumbleby and Renora, because they both went through very similar situations. Ren and Nora with the Knuckle V, Bumbleby with Adam. Now, Ren's whole, maybe one of them feels that way, but the other may be worried. I was at first, I didn't catch it myself. I was like, that doesn't fit Blake and Yang at all. But he was referring to him and Nora. That one little line is strictly for them. Maybe Nora feels the way she does, but maybe he's worried. And, I think Nora kind of caught on. That's why she screams about what. And then, Ren says there's just a lot going on, which, yeah, there is.
There is. And then, his mind, it's slightly there, and like I said, it's in the right place. He's worrying too much. Mm-hmm. But we've also learned that he doesn't know how to express his emotions. He'll express them slightly, and we've been seeing that more as things develop.
Go ahead.
But it's just, and that's why he reminded Nora, I don't know, I can't express myself pretty much. Like, it's hard for him, and she knows that, so, well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nora also says, well, how can they talk, how can they talk about it if there's, and all that, and, which is kind of funny because the fandom had been screaming for a while that we needed to see more Renora content, and that we needed to see Blake and Yang have a talk, so it's kind of, relates to, once again, both Bumbleby and Renora. So yes, the whole point of that scene was to parallel Bumbleby with Renora. Nora is so worried about her and Ren's relationship at this point, she's pretty much saying she wants what Blake and Yang have with each other. Because Blake and Yang are openly flirting with each other. They're pretty much already doing couple things, like they went to a dance club together. Yes, Team Funky was there, but Yang pretty much confirmed she wasn't going because of Team Funky. Okay? So yeah, they're being open and honest about themselves, where Ren is kind of putting that wall between him and Nora. And, it's like you said, he brings up that he's never been good with talking, which we've known that for years. And then Nora, in very Nora fashion, says, screw talking, and
she kisses him.
We have the Renora kiss,
and the thing
which Ren returned.
He returned, and I'm sorry, but the way, when his arms actually came around her and he held onto her, that's very romantic.
But they made a point of showing that Ren got distracted by the kiss. Now, would him and Nora have been able to do anything if they hadn't been distracted? I don't know.
They wouldn't be able to see either.
But many people believe that this is going to cause Ren to be like, we shouldn't have done this. It just proves that it's a distraction, which we've not seen yet, because the next episode after that, we got this really weird scene of, Ironwood giving his orders, and of course Clover and Winter gave their very sharp, yes sirs, because they're 100% loyal to Ironwood. Then you have Ruby and Nora. Did they say yes sir as well? I can't remember if they did or not. It's been a couple of weeks since I've seen it.
The subtitle said everybody did, but they all did it in their own way.
Yeah. And then you have Ren say this very sharp yes sir. And Nora legit looked at him worried. Like, they're still building this divide a little bit. And someone on Twitter made a very interesting observation with that scene. When you see Ironwood in that scene, he's blocking Ren. But on one side, you've got Winter and Clover, the people who are 100% loyal to him. Then on the other side, you've got, Ruby and Nora. And these are the ones who, they like Ironwood, but they're not 100% loyal just yet.
Wasn't Qrow on that side too?
I think he was. And then you have Ren in the middle. So many thought that maybe that's, a little bit of foreshadowing that Ren's right now got himself stuck in the middle.
And that would fit though, because he knows so much is going on, so he's in the middle of everything. And
then the next episode, while they're at the dinner party,
you get old Ren.
Yeah, we don't really get any more build up to that. We get, Ren taking part in Team Juniper's shenanigans. He does smile. He does have his hand on Nora's shoulder when she's on the ground after her fall. But the volume's still got some time to go. And
I think another thing now, just thinking because of what you said about him standing there and saying yes sir, obviously this is after the kiss, this is after what happened, and the look they showed, after that all happened, the lights going out, that his reaction to that, staying completely focused, is probably what forced that strong yes sir in the middle. So, but
only
actually,
time will tell.
Yeah, but after seeing their little, team shenanigan, we got to see the Ren that we've been wanting to see again for a while,
it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, really, because with him acting like the good little soldier all of a sudden, he,
being in that place with a mission like that, on guard.
Well, the point is, they all did something that kind of goes against orders, because they were told not to wander off and all that, and they're making an opportunity for Weiss to go wander off, so this is kind of Ren going against orders a little bit, so I don't know, maybe that's just maybe that's me looking too much into it, or maybe it is a story incongruity, maybe, or maybe, you know, they just said screw it, let's just have this cute little moment with Team Juniper. But I mean, who knows? Only time will tell. We're still a couple of days away from Chapter 9, I believe it is, and from the preview that they showed, it's not going to be a good time. But yeah, so Renora is our number 1 for this list. Technically, it's number 2 because Bumbleby will always be our number 1 ship of RWBY. But we wanted to do, you know, just a little shipping video about what other ships in RWBY we like, canon or otherwise. And yeah, this was fun. And maybe we'll do some more in the future because, let's face it, there's no shortage of RWBY ships in RWBY.
There's no shortage of ships and a lot of things we like, so yeah. We'll probably have a lot of top 8, top 10s of many different things.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry that you had to join us in our New Year's kiss there, but hopefully you didn't mind it. So yeah, happy 2020, start of a new decade. Hopefully it's a good one. So yeah, if there's any other ships you would like our opinion on, leave it in the comments, and maybe we'll do it in a future video. So please remember, if you want to join the giveaway, subscribe. Go to the link in the description for the giveaway video. It'll give you the rules for it. We are not going to post a deadline until next week. We'll either do it in a video or it'll be on our Twitter. Or both. So find our Twitters in the description down below and follow us, so we'll keep you up to date on that. We are going to a con next week, so things will be a little bit jumbly.
We still will have a reaction. It probably
the analysis
won't be on screen. That will be a little late.
Yeah. The analysis will more than likely not be until we get back home. We will announce the winner after we get back, and we've got a lot of other things planned. We will have some convention vlogs. My Let's Play series is going to be starting soon, and there's a lot of other stuff going. So yeah, like I said, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button.
Supporting us on Patreon.
Yep, because we've got 3 now. Once we get to 5, we are going to do a Patreon only giveaway. So
once we get to 10,
yeah, there'll be a really big giveaway.
Really big giveaway.
Yep. And yeah. Like I said, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit that like button, leave a comment, support us on Patreon, follow us on Twitter, check out our Etsy store, our Square store, our Facebook page, all that good stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.